Hello and welcome back to Sub-Second F1 with me for the Formula One STC Saudi Arabian Grand Prix 2022 Fantasy Team Choices. Now, there's quite a lot going on in Saudi Arabia at the moment, so this might not even happen. This video could be totally irrelevant by the time this comes out. If the drivers decide to not go ahead, they're currently in a meeting at the time of recording. So we'll see what goes on. Now, this is the team that we started off with last week, I think it was. Sort of a covering all bases team. But let's just say, there were some disappointments in here. I'm looking at you, Lando, Norris and Mclaren. And the unfortunate retirement of Pierre Gasly, which is never good. So what changes would we make? Obviously the Ferrari as the constructor is probably still a good choice. You know, they look very solid in the first two practice sessions, a little lacking in the race runs after a tiny, as they would say, incident clipping the walls for both drivers, but they didn't do race runs last week and they turned out pretty good, so I think Ferrari can stay. Pierre Gasly, you can stay. I mean, the AlphaTauri's got a bit of pace in it. We saw it, he was running well within the points before his unfortunate issue with the Red Bull powertrain branded engine, which is basically just a Honda. So, alright, he's on -4 points, but I think Pierre will bring it back. Magnussen, he's staying. Yeah, but Magnussen's staying. He's had a superb first weekend for Haas, scoring more points in the first race than they did in the previous 2 years, so that's a very good sign. Same with Bottas. Bottas can stay, 22 points. He's just solid, you know. It's a solid. Although then again, the Alfa Romeo hasn't looked too great from practice this week. Bottas was 9th, so maybe we'll consider changing him out. So I think the first change I would make is probably I'm going to remove Norris from this team and Bottas, but I'm going to put Charles Leclerc in, and then it leaves you with another £7.5 million driver, which I think you probably go for the other Haas just because it's quite good. As you can see, some of the prices are starting to change in this now, so yeah, so that would be the change that I would make for this team. Obviously Verstappen can stay, he's looked mighty. Leclerc comes in because he wasn't in this team previously, but he's the current championship leader, so he kind of has to have him in. Mick and Magnussen to make up the numbers, and Pierre Gasly because he was out very strong last weekend. But you could equally sub Gasly out for Tsunoda because Tsunoda was just as good. So, and the Ferrari car stays. Turbo driver in Leclerc. You just have to. So that would be the team that we made last week. That's the changes I would make to it. But this next team, this is going to be a hype team. So this is get some drivers in there before their price is dramatically rise. So Charles Leclerc, you can go in because his price has already gone up by 0.5 million from his £18 million starting bracket. Then you want, I think, the constructor. We'll go with the Ferrari. This will be essentially the Ferrari powertrains team, if it's possible to get them all in. So Sainz is in. Then you want Mick and Magnussen. That should leave you enough for another one of the big boys. 26.5 mil. At least you're enough for Bottas, and you've got plenty of room left over for someone else. If you want the Ferrari hype train power team, based on what we saw last week, this will be a third team I will create just for this weekend. So yeah, we'll try this, see what this one does. I'll try it with Mercedes next week. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, thank you very much for watching. Join the league in the description below. Come back next week or in 2 weeks' time for the Australian one. We'll be doing this again. And hopefully with the race review on Monday. Thank you all very much for watching, and goodbye.